Hello everybody, my name is Ibanitos, and welcome back to Warframe in a nutshell. We're talking about Valkyr today. Now, you guys, we're looking at a Valkyr Prime currently, but that shouldn't matter. Valkyr has the single highest armor rating in the game, hands down. Flat out. At 700 at rank 30. She has 225 energy, 300 health, and 150 shield, again, all at rank 30. And this is, of course, her Prime variant. Valkyr by herself has 300 health at rank 30, 150 shield at rank 30, and 600 armor, which is static, and then 150 energy at rank 30, with a sprint speed of 1.1, which is pretty much the same thing that the Valkyr Prime has, with 100 less armor, and I think a little bit less energy overall. Now, Valkyr is often considered to be one of the most absolutely terrifying creatures in existence. People love playing as her. I personally, she's not my style, so I don't play with her very much. So this video might be a little hackneyed. But we're going to simulate our normal 6 Lances. Which, level 30s, they're not too bad. So, Valkyr's first ability is called Ripline. She hurls forth the hook. If it hits an enemy, she pulls them to her. If it hits terrain, she pulls herself to the hook's location. A range of 75 meters, a damage of 600, and actually a combo window kind of like any melee mod. So, terrain, enemy, which apparently flings them quite a ways. Just kill him. So, a good way to get around, but as you can see, it only lasts a short time, so oof, and apparently it goes to 4 times at max, and yes, it can rip people down the middle. So, interesting notes about that particular ability. So it's a slightly damaging ability, but it's also mobility, and also CC to some small degree. So we're going to go ahead and look at her next couple abilities here, which are all, I believe, fairly passive, just powerful. So, War Cry is her next ability. She sets out a rallying cry that bolsters her allies' melee speed while slowing down nearby enemies. It gives apparently Valkyr an armor increase of 50% and a speed increase of everybody by 50%, and then an enemy's speed decrease by 30% for a duration of 15 seconds in a 25-meter range. So, you can already see that this guy's moving a little bit slower. My melee weapon is moving much faster than it normally does. And it's truly one of the most spectacular, he's killing them. It's truly one of the most spectacular, because here's my normal speed on my Reaper Prime. Slow, not that effective. Now her next one, another fairly passive kind of skill, if I remember correctly, is Paralysis. She unleashes her shield, stunning and damaging enemies nearby. So basically what happens is the more shields you give Valkyr, you can use Paralysis to deal all those shields as 3.5 times damage. As you can see there. Apparently it does very little shields. And apparently you can spam it like crazy, because I have no efficiency, but this is still doing fairly well. Because the ability itself only costs 5 energy. Now it stuns them for a short duration, and it damages them as well, but also has a knockback strength, so technically these enemies should be ragdolling like crazy. But they're not, which is a little weird. Now, what most people come to Valkyr for is not for her first or second or her third skill, although her second skill people use a lot. It's actually her fourth skill, Hysteria. The Hysteria, Valkyr is imbued with energy and becomes a ball of voracious rage capable of unleashing a torrent of deadly claw attacks on its foes. It does 250 damage per attack, a radius of 5 meters, which you'll see, and the lifesteal of 5% and energy per second. It's a handled ability, and like I showed you slightly, she has an exalted weapon that comes from it. You can see from her claws there. So the enemies you see within that range, and apparently I'm just executing all of these guys. as you can see there, the longer this ability continues to be channeled, the more energy cost it goes up. But at the same time, the more energy it requires, the slightly larger her circle becomes as well. So we'll go ahead and activate this area. You'll see that it slowly starts to expand outwards to a maximum range. Just keep on going there, keep on going, and then we'll go ahead and see what happens from there. Now, the things to remember about Valkyr's Hysteria is the attacks have a 200% critical damage multiplier with a 50% critical chance and a 10% status. And so, and the lifesteal she inflicts is total melee damage. So this is before mitigation. So it's very, very good. Plus, you also get to work with the combo counter for melee weapons. It's a really strong, really good weapon. It's kind of hard to say what really makes this better or worse, but that ring that you're seeing is an aura that she emits. That 30% of the total damage she ignores is stored. If any enemies within this aura have line of sight of Valkyr, when Hysteria is deactivated, she deals 25% of all stored damage as impact damage. So when she releases this, which apparently it drains too fast to recover, or something like that. So we'll unpause the AI here. You can see the top marker up there. And it's slowly storing damage. Oh no, don't fall into the hole. And apparently I did not do it the correct way. But yeah, so it's a really interesting method to kind of boomstick, because once you got that stored damage stored up, you can detonate it for a lot of damage. So that really is Valkyr in a nutshell. As you can see, she's not that strong until, like with Titania, you augment or build her prime talons. Well, her talons. So this is its static build, its static appearance for her Valkyr Prime. So one of the things that I always recommend to people, if they have it, go ahead and throw on that pressure point. Because it has such a high critical chance, throw on Organ Shatter for the critical damage and True Steel for the critical chance to be boosted a little farther. And then Reach may or may not be a good idea. I have never really experimented with how good Reach works on her, but there's that. So now beyond that, there's really not much here that I have that is not a rare that you can use. But Life Strike can be sometimes a useful skill for her to have, or even Healing Return. Although she does not apply a lot of statuses, as you can see 0% with this. With the Dash Polarity, you pretty much just want to run yourself with any kind of slash you can. If you have any slash augmentating mods, put slash on there. It's going to bump up that damage she's going to deal. But really, I would just say throw on some elementals. Molten Impact, Fever Strike for gas, or, Fever Strike and Shocking Touch for electric, or corrosive. Throwing on some additional mods on top of that. This is just going to overall increase your damage output. We'll do that, and then Molten right there. This is just overall going to increase your damage output and just going to make it so much harder for them to have to deal with you. And of course, you can always do critical chance increase when channeling, so on and so forth. And there's other ones that really going to help out with it as well. But this is pretty much the setup for a kind of an economy build for Valkyr. Now, whether or not you're going to need to do that when you get by the time you get Valkyr is unsaid. So once again, we're going to look at her one more time. We're going to spawn some enemies. We'll pause the AI. And I will show you the difference between modded talons and unmodded talons. Look at those damage numbers. An insane amount of damage in such a short period of time. All because what we did is modify her talons to be economy. So how high can we push this? We could probably push this, I think, to about, let's take a look at level 100s. Again, you will only fight level 100s in sortie level enemies, and by that time you should also have modified your Valkyr. Yeah, you're seeing this. She just decimated in like 2 hits each a level 100 Lancers. Now, that's not quite the same as fighting level 100 Bombards, so just to kind of prove a point, we're going to pull out some Bombards. We're going to pull out 1 Bombard. That's all we should need for now. Again, this is standard, no modifications to the Warframe itself. And as you can see, that armor is going to be a severe hampering. But Hysteria does have some guaranteed slash procs that it applies. And so, it takes a little bit, but you can still crush them in a fairly good period of time, even with having those kind of handicaps. So what happens if we modify her? Well, firstly, this is unformed. So this is what you're going to be looking at for a build. So with a V polarity, rifle amp, steel charge is what I recommend for people, because if you have steel charge, it's going to increase the power of your talons, as a heads up. In your Matter Eye, of course, go in your Intensify, go in your Continuity. It's going to give you some little bit more time to play around with stuff. And most people I hear run her with Rage or Adrenaline, because it converts that damage that she takes into, energy, which can be very, very useful for her. Beyond that, Vitality, Steel Fiber. 1400 armor is insane. If you have Gladiator Aegeus for an extra bit of bump to that, that's even better. And there's other ones you can do, Gladiator Resolve as well. And again, most of these come from the Gladiator set comes particularly from Cetus. So you can try to find those there if you want. Now, when you go over here into the dash polarity, you can look at things like flow, equilibrium. Equilibrium might be a really good idea for you to get. I recommend flow, of course. Stretch is not super necessary, but I would recommend streamline for that extra, the extra little bit of time you can get on there, and of course a little bit more duration or a little bit more power strength depending on what you're going to do. Because really the range isn't really going to change stuff. It's going to correct your Warcry, give you more range on that, give you more range in your Rip Line, give you more range in your Paralysis. But the radius of Hysteria, it's not a super big issue. I tell people I would always prefer them to have a little bit more oomph to their power rather than a little bit more range when it comes to this. So, again, slightly economy style build even for Valkyr. My Kitty, unfortunately, just gave me crit chance. I'm going to let that elapse here. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing, super red crits. And I don't think any one of us wants to see that continue output. Because that's a little bit sketchy. It's really not showing the actual potential of this frame. So, activate our Hysteria, let it, well, no, because 10 seconds would still be quite a bit of time. 3, 2, 1, alright. So we'll activate Hysteria, hit him a couple times. And as you can see, it's a little bit more chunky, but still, oh, Shiza. Well, I assassinated him. It's still not a huge bit of damage increase. So we'll go ahead and make myself invisible, well, I don't even need invincibility, just simulate that. And I'll activate my Hysteria, which does make me immortal. Now doing this, as you can see, it's not a super big amount of damage, but it does make you immortal, which is great. And because I have corrosive on and there's guaranteed engaged procs, we got that there, and that enemy will just flat die. So what would happen, and I know people are probably asking this, like, wait, there's another aspect to this. You can use your other abilities while in Hysteria. That's true. I can, for example, use Warcry, making me a heck of a lot faster. increasing my armor even further, and applying all kinds of status effects, as you can see. Regardless of whether they say that it only has a 5% or a 0% chance of status, they are still, because of Hysteria's stance, guaranteed status procs. Now, where do you find Valkyr? And what are her augments? Because that's kind of the next step we always talk about, isn't it? Well, Valkyr gets... She's technically the result of Alad V, who is Jupiter's boss, and his, well, manipulations. So the place you find her is in a place called Themeisto on Jupiter. So if we zoom out here, go to Jupiter, it's Themeisto, which is right here. So when it's not an assassination forward, it's an assassination for Corpus, which is Alad V. You go and you fight him, and you have a chance, like all times, to drop parts. The blueprint, of course, as always, comes from the marketplace. We'll just go over here and type in Valkyr. You can pick her up, and there you go. Now, beyond that, Valkyr does have a fairly good selection of augments. I believe she has a full set of 4, but I have to figure out where they are.
Alright, what can we help you with?
Usually you can find most things in one place or another, but might not be the case here. I might have to go to the parent sequence, because that would make most sense to me since she's a Valkyr construct. Or the Corpus construct from Alad V, so she might be here. But I know she has at least 2 augments, and she may have more than that. So, Swingline, which after using Ripline, the next 4 Riplines have no energy cost while airborne. So this basically allows her to swing around, gives her a good bit of mobility. And it also gives her a bit more damage, because if you think about that, it's 4 times damage that she can throw at enemies while she's in the air. And the other one is Eternal War, which, while active, Warcry's duration is increased by 2 seconds for each melee kill. So, there's that. Prolonged Paralysis, which affected enemies are pulled towards Valkyr, and the stun duration is increased by 200%. So, useful. And of course, Hysterical Assault. Use the secondary fire to leap onto enemies up to 30 meters away. I've seen a lot of people use Hysterical Assault. It is actually quite interesting. And it is a good way of getting mobility to a frame that kind of tends to have a little bit less mobility than normal. But she has incredible high amounts of defense capability and armor, so if you want to pick her up, I heavily recommend you pick up all the basic warframes from their respective locations around the star map. Even if all you do is you pick them up so you can have them sit in your foundry as finished products, that's fine. Having them available to you is going to save you so much time and effort when you're wanting to upgrade your mastery rank or test out the different warframes you have available to you. So everybody, I hope you've enjoyed watching this quick here. I've had a fun time doing this. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. Hit that like button if you want to see, hit that like button if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more In a Nutshell or tutorial videos, which I will be probably doing a little bit more of in the upcoming days. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye everybody!